Hello everyone, welcome back. This is your daily tarot and astrology for Tuesday, March 11th. Boy, we're so close to the eclipse. Well, we've been in that portal anyway, and we've been in the pre-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde happening on the 14th and 15th. So man, what a lineup, like 13th, 14th, 15th. And then we also have the first day of spring coming up on March 20th. So, wow. Lots of change, I feel. So this is the deck I'm using, the Radiant Rider-Waite. And right there, okay. So we have... We have our lovely Queen of Wands, who is firmly planted in her power. That's why her legs are a little bit open. She's lady spreading, and she says her black kitty. She trusts her intuition. Oh my goodness! We also have the Queen of Pentacles. Now this is our theme for the day, and then we have the Moon reversed, which is the way I like to get it. Okay, so let's go back to the Queen of Wands. So keywords for her are warmth and help that people, really appreciate getting. It has great value to it. She's full of determination, as is the Queen of Pentacles too. Both very determined. When they come through upright, the cards are displaying the qualities that are very positive. Now, as you can see, all the queens are of the water nature and then whatever element. So we have receptive, a lot of receptive energy for literally, putting yourself out there, being happy, going for what you want. Having self-confidence is one of my, major takeaways with the Queen of Wands. And always trusting your intuition. It's always with you. And then with the Queen of Pentacles, so they're both very helpful. On the earthly side, Pentacles we're dealing with money, we're dealing with health, we're dealing with anything that relates to like home and things that are very practical. This gal might be a little more motherly. Now, when we get court cards, they can be aspects of ourselves, or they can actually be a person in your life. So being that I'm not reading for just one person here, I have to leave it up to you guys to decide. Is this, are you going for it today? And are you taking care of a lot of things around the home and taking care of your family? Like, what's going on? You're going to have to tell me. And I love hearing from you. But basically, there's a lot of active energy. This goes really well with Mars, which is still in Cancer. It doesn't move into Leo until April 18th. It's been retrograde, but it's moving forward. So it makes sense to me that there's a lot of home projects, home, garage, out in the yard. If you're North America here, we're just about to the first day of spring, and then maybe if you're in the Australia, if you're in the land down under, maybe living in the future. Maybe you're harvesting the rest of the last bits of your garden if you can. Although I hear from Libby over at Meister Tarot that there's been cyclones and some very challenging weather problems. But this is enjoying yourself in nature and abundance. And I always love to go with the artwork where she's really focused in on what she has. And if you're trying to manifest something new, that's the way to do it. She's like the master manifester. And very receptive to all of nature and all of the abundance of nature. And we've got the little rabbit that's all about, fertility. So yeah. But anyway, she's really down to earth and very secure with who she is and what she has, and she's very self-responsible. The Queen of Wands it just has a different flavor in that she might be more outgoing. Our Queen of Pentacles might be more introverted, but if she's around someone that'll bring her out, these two can have quite some fun. The Queen of Cups would be even, if we had all three of those queens, boy, I wouldn't mind the Queen of Swords either, actually. So, okay, so today I'm feeling it's bottom line, very practical, getting things together, being very self-responsible for you and if you take care of anyone else. And then there's a lot of exuberance in the morning for going for that. And then later in the evening, it may be that you've done so well getting yourself together, getting things organized for the future, that you just don't have any more fear or anxiety coming up because you know you've done the best that you possibly can, and then you just let go. Because the moon, when it comes to reversed, is releasing fear. It's releasing anxiety. It's letting go of confusion, and unless it's, unless you're going through the dark night of the soul, sometimes I get this card for that. But upright or reversed, I would always ask about that. The older you get, the more times you probably could tell me that you've gone through the dark night of the soul. And you get to the point where you just, you're good with navigating within, and it's not so scary. And especially when we have these two ladies helping out. Here's our water element, right? And here's our card that relates to that Pisces pileup that we have astrologically. So anyway, let's, okay, now wait, Pentacles, this would handle all of our earthly signs, so Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The Wands would happily take on all the fire signs, or the Queen of Wands, which is Aries, Leo, and Sag. So, yeah. Okay, let's look at the astrology. So I have the chart set for 5 a.m. It's probably way too early for you guys, but just in case you're up early, no matter what time you wake up, we are going to be, within the realm of the Leo moon. So the moon always sets the mood. It has to do with how we connect for, the time period that it's in. It stays in one sign for 2 to 2.5 days. And with the moon, it's very intuitive. This definitely, absolutely would relate to our Queen of Wands. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. Hold on, that's my solitaire game. There we go. So, but anyway, I have to be careful what I touch. So, yeah. The go for it, just that go for it energy. And notice that we have 2 trines, so we have a lot of connection in the realm of the other fire sign, so or fire sign. I don't know if you want to be sitting by a fireside, but if it's cool enough for you still. So anyway, 19 degrees here. It takes about 2 hours for the moon to move 1 degree. So every hour that goes by, we're going to have this tighter double trine here. So if we combine the moon with Eris, that gives us a lot of fiery courage to stand up for ourselves, to protect ourselves. Maybe that's why we wound up with the 2 queens for the day. Right? Because you don't mess around with these ladies. Even if they were reversed, I wouldn't want to mess around with them. And then with Chiron, Chiron can bring up some wounding. But Chiron is also our teacher. Chiron represents It was discovered in 1977, and it's so interesting. It has, the little glyph that looks like a wheelchair, and that was when we started putting in wheelchair ramps and having handicapped parking, things like that. So that's interesting. That was did I say 1977? So Chiron is now. It takes 51 years to get all the way around the zodiac, about 51, 52. So it's connecting with Eris at this point, which is really important. Now, I'm sure it has before, of course, because Eris just sits there. Like when I was born, Eris was at, I think, 8 degrees. I'm 71, so anyway, we're going to be partying down with Eris until the year of 2048 when she moves into, or about 2049 when she moves into Taurus. So it's all about independence and courage, finding your way, finding your path, moving forward, being a little more daring, wanting to get ahead in life. We don't like feeling abandoned. We don't like when we've got this Aries lineup. And notice how Mercury and Venus are exactly conjunct today. Yeah, so, and especially with Venus in Aries, retrograde no less. Again, pick your battles. Don't waste time going in the direction that is going to get you nowhere just to be able to tell somebody off. It's not worth it. Unless you're needing to set a really healthy boundary in your own life with, like let's say a family member or a friend, then you have to do that. And I don't care what astrology is going on. That's always the time to stand up and be in your power. Don't let anybody ever walk all over you or try to manipulate you or suck off your energy or push you around, right? No bullies, no abuse, none of that. So, and they're not worth fighting with either because they like to fight. That's the thing. Bullies like to fight. It's how they connect. So because their connection is off, or they've been bullied and they think that's the only way to be on top of things, whatever causes the bully to do what the bully does, or the arrogant asshole in your life to be that way, whatever causes them to do that, that's their problem. And if you engage, then you make it your problem. But now, if you need to, then bring the law in against the bully. Call the cops, do whatever you got to do. Change the locks, do whatever you got to do. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because of all this Aries energy ruled by Mars. Mars is down here in Cancer right now, which has everything to do with protecting ourselves because Cancer wants to be secure. We've got the tender crab. And we've got the double trine going to the Sun. Not only is the Sun conjunct Saturn, Mercury's conjunct Venus. And remember the rule when it comes to conjunctions, it strengthens, it increases all the planets' powers that are involved. So we have a lot of power with messaging and standing up for ourselves because like Mars, you got to put Mars over here really because Mars rules Aries. So imagine having Mercury, Mars, and Venus all together. But the deal is we've got the square going on from Chiron. So we really want to make sure that we're making good decisions. That's why I was saying, pick your battles. And if it's just to win, that's what Aries wants. And nobody wins if you're dealing with an abusive person until you walk away and you get yourself out of that victim persecutor, triangle going on. Otherwise, you turn into the persecutor if you're just going back and forth. But if they are outright abusive and you let them get away with it, then you're actually abusing their soul because you're not teaching them that they're not allowed to do that. That's why you get temporary restraining orders. That's why you move out. That's why you do whatever you need to do to make yourself safe first, and then you get away. So that's quite a bit of a lineup going on here, and that is, what heals the deepest relationship you'll ever have, which is the one with yourself. And when you don't abandon yourself anymore, you heal whatever needs to be healed within, right? And abandonment is such an important part of the Aries issues. Whenever we have Aries issues, it's because we're afraid of being abandoned, or we're being impulsive and we're pushing against. And if we're pushing against, it usually makes people go the other direction. So yeah, and I'm giving so much attention to this because Venus is our ruler of relationships and money and values, most of all. So with the double trine to the moon, there's a lot of courage in those issues. With the square over to Chiron, there's the need to make a decision in order to balance yourself out in, maybe an issue where you're afraid that, maybe you're just afraid to assert your unique individuality. Maybe that's all it is. So, you can work with that. We also have 3 sextiles coming down to Uranus. So that is the Sun, Saturn, and the North Node. This is a triple whammy of opportunity to free yourself and preserve yourself and create stability and security for yourself. And then it harkens back to whatever you've gone through in the past, and you're being very practical and gathering facts, but really getting yourself together. I mean, there is no surprise at all that we did get the Queen of Pentacles there, right? So yeah, okay, now the moon with 2 inconjuncts up to the sun. Now this will be, going on for a few hours exact, but so whatever time you wake up, it's either coming in or you're going to work through it. The Sun conjunct Saturn is very, we have a spotlight on something that is maybe limiting or something you're trying to master, someplace where you're persevering, where you're not giving up, where you don't mind working hard, and if it takes a long time, you don't care because you're on your path, you're on your spiritual path, and you know that you have to do whatever it is that you're doing. And then with the with the moon, with the 2 inconjuncts here, the moon gives a lot more power, but there is adjustment because something feels off this morning. And it might be that you had some Dreamtime guidance, and then it's like, oh, wow, okay, so if I really want to be in my power, the time is now, and you can't just keep putting things off anymore, and you realize that. And then with the trine over here to Pluto, my goodness, there's that opportunity there, the power to be independent and move forward and be free, and then the connection to the past in all different types of ideas and ways that you could, that you could be, just all the practical details of like making it happen. So this is really good for projects. It's really good for moving forward. Everything connects back from the past and what you've been through, and you're not the same person. So remember that. Okay, well, that's it for today. We'll be back later. Bye.